Hi guys, welcome back to another Daily Tarot card. These are your Daily Tarot cards for Thursday, December 29th, 2022. Throne Thursday. Today we're pulling from the Game of Thrones Tarot cards. So we have the Sun in Capricorn and the Moon in Pisces. So we do have this emotional time. Definitely, we were talking about this with Instagram. It's like, you know, Christmas is over. We're getting ready for New Year's. That's the positive. But that's like this void of course time. You know what I mean? So, Boxing Day. So if you have some Christmas money, maybe you're buying some stuff, or you were saving your money. Like with myself, it was just like people had given me some cash, and I'm just like, I know for myself, Bath and Body has their Boxing Day sale on. I was like, oh, I'll grab some soaps. You know what I mean? So it's just like, there's that kind of stuff, but it's just like, it's what you make of it. You know what I mean? Definitely we have the Five of Cups here. This is 2 days in a row we have the Five of Cups. So maybe it's just like watch what you're getting into. As we get into the cards, you'll see where I'm coming from. It may be an inheritance from someone that has passed. You know what I mean? I feel like maybe this is owed to you. I feel like because with the Ace of Swords, I feel like it's um it I don't know if someone withheld it, you know what I mean? But I felt like this should have been yours, is the feeling that I get. That it's from someone, like, because we have the Emperor energy there. So I feel like someone withheld this from you. You know what I mean? In some sense. That may not be the case with everybody. They were showing two people earlier last week. There was a female and a male. She was sitting there and she's dividing up her assets. She's sitting there and she's dividing up her jewelry because she wants the seed to go to certain people. So it looks like they're downsizing into something smaller. It makes sense. Like, as we get older, it's, you know what I mean? Even if you're in your mid 40s, it gets harder to keep up with everything. You know what I mean? It's not that you don't have the energy. It's just like things take different priority. You know what I mean? Um, and especially me, it's like the heat. You know what I mean? When it's hot out, it's just like I try to avoid when it's really hot out. And especially you can't water your plants when it's really hot out. Like, when the sun is blazing on them because then it's like it'll fry them. So it's just like, I just feel like as you get older, it's just like, it's easier if I even said to myself, maybe I should move into a condo so I don't have to worry about, shoveling snow. I don't have to worry, cutting grass. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, I could get the boys to do it, you know what I mean? But it's just like, who wants the headache of, asking someone else to do it or pay someone to do it? It's like, there's other variables to think about. So, we'll see how things turn out there. I want to thank Riff for commenting and watching. Thank you and welcome to, the tribe and, all of you, any of you, if you guys want to comment, please feel free to do so. I enjoy reading them. I love the fact that you're attracted to it because of the name Golgotha. And anytime, like, even if you guys don't feel, and I know a lot of you don't want people to know that, you're on here, so if you can Instagram message me, DM me, and I will just say, like, someone left a question and I can answer for you. So anything that you guys feel like doing, go ahead and feel free to do so. But, like, I am very thankful to all of you for watching and subscribing and commenting and liking. It helps grow the channel, it gets it to more people. So, I appreciate each and every one of you. But yeah, I understand, God bless you and your family. I'm so sorry for your loss, and, you know, we're here for you, you know. But it's just like, I don't know if they pass from something, they're saying not in pain anymore. So, I know that's a real general thing to say, but that's what they just said to me. So that, hopefully that'll resonate with you. But that's, thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. So we're starting off with the Page of Coins. So we have this influx of money. So I feel like, this is coming in. It's temporary. Is this from the inheritance or is this from something else? In Canada, I'm only going to speak from what I know. We're getting another double GST, but it's just like, remember, it's temporary with me. Snow removal is doubled. You know, February, they're talking about doubling on tax on groceries, on gas, on electric. I call it hydro because that's what it was called, when I was a kid. So I've always called it hydro. They're saying this is money you forgot about. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know. Is it something you forgot about? Is something that maybe that you didn't know about? I don't know. Some sort of influx of money. We have the Page of Cups. I feel like this is the evolution of a young child. I definitely feel like this was with my eldest. It was a rocky year. We got through it, with determination and dedication. We got through it. You see the fish jumping out of the cup, so it's just like, yeah, we got to sit there and let our children grow. You know what I mean? Like, we got to sit there and become individuals, but at the same time, it's like, be there to be that guiding light, to be supportive, to be understanding, to be that open book. They were talking about having conversations with them, like they matter, like their opinion matters, like they have a choice in certain things. So one thing they were talking about is like, this windfall of money with no harm to none, but it does look like, unfortunately, so there was a loss here. Um, it's like, they're saying like you get the money, and it's like you don't necessarily have to give your children the money. You know what I mean? Like some of it. But it's like, with the Seven of Cups here, I feel like you can, use this money to manifest something. You know what I mean? And then with the way that I mean like that is like down payment for a home, um, something fun, or buy, they could buy something fun with it. You know what I mean? I feel like, put some money away. Like, kids should have a savings account that they don't touch. Um, but even if it's $5, it doesn't have to be a significant amount, but it's like you will see in time how that $5, like, we used to, in Canada, we used to get the universal um child tax credit, and that money was supposed to be put away for the kids' education. So it was just like, something that we did. So I feel like it's just like, even if the thing is, it's like, instead of invest, like RSP, I understand, RSEP, or RESP, I understand, but like these other places that tell you to, like, it's all a gimmick. Like, we did it, and what a scam. You're better off just putting it in the bank, leaving it in there, and honestly, what a waste. But anyway, so it feels like you're saying, instead of sitting there saying, where we put this money in your bank account, let's invest into a home, it'll be yours. It's yours. You know what I mean? It'll be left to you guys, and it's just like, that's where it'll benefit them. Like, having those conversations so they have a say in it. You know what I mean? So I feel like it'll benefit everybody, but it's just like there's some sort of like, with that Ace of Sword there, it's like you don't have to, but it's like, you know what I mean? It's like you feel like inside of you, you should have that conversation. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody will ever know that you have that unless you say something. We have the Magician, so I feel like we have the experience to go through this situation here. You know what I mean? Mercury, so the planet of communication, and I feel like it's the communication you have with yourself, your moral compass. What are you going to do here? You know what I mean? So I feel like in that way. We have the Five of Cups again, sadly. So it's like, this void of course time. Unfortunately, some of us are going through it, where there's been a separation, there's been a divorce, there's been a bereavement. And I will tell you, this does not last forever. Something that you have to make the choice, though, to sit there and be happy. It sucks. You know what I mean? It definitely sucks. It's like nobody wants to go through that, but it's like being appreciative where you are, how far you come. Stuff doesn't mean anything. Like for us, like, you know what I mean. We would give it all up if we could have Shane back again. But it's just like, all the stuff we donated, like, you know what I mean? Our things, like, like, especially our Christmas stuff. We had a dance as Santa Claus and all this, all the ornaments we had out all the time and all this stuff, and it's just like we donated all that stuff because it's just like, we're moving, 16 hours away. We are collaborating with, someone we were, going to share a house with. And it's just like, now it's like, I always wanted nutcrackers, and now I have like so many of them and stuff like that. So it's like, Christmas and Hanukkah together, and it's just like, how far we come. You know what I mean? I know that stuff doesn't matter, but at the end of the day, it's just like, in a sense, it's like, when you take it out, you feel that nostalgia. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, all the nutcrackers are coming out. Michael names them all. He wants us to take a Sharpie and start writing their names on the bottom of them so he can remember every year. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? It's become something fun in our family, So it's just like, finding that fun thing that, that's what I mean. It's just like, it's what we make of it. You know what I mean? Yeah, the situation freaking sucks balls. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing worse than that. Like, sitting there and it's just like, yeah, we can think about, hey, how would we celebrate this year? How would the holidays be? Or no. You know what I mean? But it's like, you can't do that to yourself. It's just like, Celebrate the moments. Know that they're there with you, celebrating and enjoying. They don't want you to be sad. You know what I mean? Like, I understand you're going to feel those feelings. It's the cost we pay for love. You're always going to love them. They're always going to be a part of you. You know what I mean? But it's just like, it will not last forever. You know, those sad feelings. Yeah, it'll come up here and there. You know, the best thing I ever read is that grief is like an earthquake. You know, you sit there, the earthquake happens, your earth is, everything is disheveled. Then you put everything back together, and sometimes you'll get these aftershocks, that could shake you sometimes to the core, and maybe this whole situation with the money may do that, you know. Um, but it's just like, you feel what you're feeling and start putting it back together again. That's all you can do. We have this one life to live. We don't want to sit there years, waste years and years on this. It's not even waste. It's like, I understand, like, you know what I mean? But we can't get caught up in it, you know? It's like we can sit there and get caught up in that moment, or we could get back to living life again. There's a difference between participating in life and actually living life, you know? So you got, you want to be living your life, and that's what they would want you to do, you know? So they're there with you every step of the way. And I feel like with this Emperor energy revolving around the home, they're not showing so much that they said real estate agent. They're not so much really hard, really potent with the for sale sign anymore. They're saying it's looming. You know what I mean? So just be mindful of that. But I feel like this money could be used for some good. They're showing education. So maybe one of the kids will end up going to school or something like that. So it's just like, using it in a positive way. It is temporary. It's not going to last forever, but use it in a positive way. You know what I mean? And I feel like your moral compass with this Ace of Swords, it's like, as long as you are worthy of this, it will come into your life. So we're going to start off with the Page of Coins. Income opportunities, good news, details. As a person, the page is a young, plain individual, male or female, who is reliable and diligent. Applied to a situation, the card reveals good news about money, income through a new job or project. So we were talking about that, like, a career change opportunity. So something that you're passionate about, I feel like that you could see like the opportunities coming in. I could start seeing things changing, in the upswing. Because with determination and dedication, you will be the victor wearing the wreath. Even Sherry Shepherd said that. I'm sure a wise person told her, and they heard it from someone else. But they always said, you're passionate, show up, show out, work on your craft, keep going. That's where your passion is. That's where you thrive. That's where your heart and soul is, And she said, money will follow. So keep putting your time and effort into the things that you're passionate about. Or a property offer. It's also time to deal with tax returns, to check your schedules. Time is money. So like, return of money. I feel like that's why they were saying, like, this is something you didn't even think of, or maybe you didn't think about. I feel, I don't feel like it's going to be anything that'll change your life in a significant way, like millions of dollars. It may be thousands, but it, like I said, it may be enough for it, depending where you are, because Toronto is ridiculous. You need $500,000 for, or $250,000 for a down payment. So it's just like, if you, that's what comes to you, God bless. But with that Five of Cups, it's just like, that's like with no harm to none. So Page of Cups, this is where we're talking about, I felt like with my son, like, he was going through it mentally, can't blame him. They were watching, like, Black Lives Matter. They're watching the indigenous children being unearthed in those mass graves, the things that they did find. You know what I mean? There was COVID, and all you see is death. It's hard for children to get through that. That's all you watch. We had to stop watching the news because it was too much. It's like, we can't sit there and have that going on. Like, it's just a negative narrative. And I even told him, I'm like, you got to watch the things you watch. I'm like, if it affects you in a negative way, you got to stay away from it. I'm like, the news affects me in a negative way too. You know what I mean? It's like, you had a hard day, whatever you're dealing with. The last thing you want to do is listen to that. You want to watch, I'll watch it for the weather and, sometimes, and that's it, because it's too much. So, news, fun, opportunities. As an individual, the page is a sensitive, imaginative young person. He or she may also be psychic. Applied to a situation, the card heralds a creative phase, plus surprise social opportunities and friendships. Meeting a young page is also a sign that new relationship is on the horizon. There's also good news about children and projects. So, It was hard for us, you know what I mean? But it's like, we kept showing up, showing out, loving, caring and saying like we give a flying flick, It's, you got to show up for your kids, It's just, it's even showing up for yourself as your inner child. It's like no one showed up for you. It's like you're showing up for them and you're showing up for yourself. You're like, you know what? I'm going to be that person by your side that wasn't there for me. What do you need? How can I help you? We'll sort this out. Well, this doesn't work. Okay, let's try something else. It's like, do different things to sit there and bring that positivity back in. Yeah, it's hard, you know what I mean? I don't wish, this on my worst enemy, to sit there and go through this yourself and sit there and try to and put yourself back together. God's grace, carrying us under his wing. And now it's like, helping them to put them back together. You know what I mean? But it's just like we're doing it. And that's what I always tell the kids. It's like the three of us, four of us, Sonny, show up every single day. We show up, we show out. Is it a perfect day every day? No. But at least we do the best we can. And that's all that matters. We love each other. We're safe, we're warm, we have a roof over our head, everything's taken care of. That's all that matters. It doesn't look like what we used to have, but you know what? We're getting there. Step by step. So the Magician. So the red is communication. We're in retrograde. With retrograde, you don't always have to look at it as a negative situation. It's an opportunity to bring things back around. So maybe a missed opportunity, it comes back around. Maybe like in a relationship wise, maybe you were in a relationship and they were single. Maybe you were single and they were in a relationship. So, when they talk about someone coming in, like the finances, this was meant to come to you and unfortunately didn't find your path. You know what I mean? And now it's coming back in. Now, maybe you'll use it wiser this time. Success, willpower, messages, manifestation, inspiration, diplomacy. Action, ideas, energies about. It's time for decisions. So this card often comes up to show new work, relationships, business startups, and other successful creative ventures. At the spiritual level, you can connect with your higher self or true purpose. If you're waiting for news, this card tells you that you will soon have the information you need. Significant journeys, moving home. We did talk about, a long distance relationship happening there. Where they're like, you know what, I've always sacrificed for my loved one, and I'm sure you have too. But for them, it's just like, the deal breaker is that you move from where they are. They're not trying to give you an ultimatum. You know what I mean? I feel like they've made their home. They're saying nest egg. They're saying that that's their, they've built a life there. And they don't want to give that up. They've always been the one that sacrifices everything. So I feel like they're saying now, it's nothing against you. I just feel like they would feel more comfortable. Or it's maybe that's the biggest show of love. It's just like, maybe you don't live in, an area that is more as developed as theirs or as safe as theirs. Or, you know what I mean? I feel like you would thrive more where they are too. Like, it's not so much an ultimatum. It's just like, I feel like it would be better. Like, use your higher levels of thinking. Take the emotion out of it. They're not giving you an ultimatum. I just feel like they're, for them, it's like the biggest show of love that someone actually shows up for them for once. They always show up for everyone else. It's like, can someone show up for me? You know what I mean? You know what they're showing? It's just like, when like a fence or something is about to fall and you put the posts, like support beams to help it to keep the fence up until you can sit there and do the proper mending and whatever you need to do. It shows up like that. They're always the support beams for everyone else, and they want someone to hold them up for once. They want someone to show up and show out for them for once. It's like they're always fixing and helping everyone else, and it's like, would it be nice for someone to do it for me for once, So I guess in that way, it's like that is the biggest, show or sacrifice you will make to show them like, yeah, like, I'm here for you. You're always there for everyone else. Let me show up for you. So loss, sadness, grief. So remember the King of Pentacles, I believe it was yesterday. I feel like that's who they were highlighting. I said, like, it could be highlighting you as the sole provider. It could be highlighting someone coming in. You know what I mean? And I feel like, look at the qualities they were naming yesterday in the Dragon's Tarot of that individual. They've always celebrated them as this, significant person. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's just like, it's worthwhile. You know what I mean? Like they said, take your time. I don't feel like they're asking you to move right away. I feel like you guys need to get to know each other and everything like that, and it makes sense. And that's what I like about them, is that they're logical. You know what I mean? Like, they understand it, like they get it. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, definitely. You like, you need to, like you both do. It's just like, you know what I mean? They're old soul, but it's just like they're very wise and patient and diligent is what they're saying. So it's just like at the same time. But I feel like for once they want someone to show up for them. They always show up and support everybody. For the fact that, it's just like that's the sacrifice. You know what I mean? But I don't feel like it's a sacrifice because it just makes sense. You know what I mean? I feel like you'll feel more like at home in their area. You know what I mean? I feel like it's a fresh start, but it's also like, more familiar. It feels like what do they call it? Not serendipitous, but it feels like deja vu. It feels like you've already been there. So going to the Five of Cups, and this is where it's this void of course time. This is why I brought up Capricorn and Sun and Pisces Moon were emotional. So when you put earth and water together, you make mud. This is Deborah Silverman's words. I love her. And it's just like, things get sticky. Things get murky. You know what I mean? But you don't have to make it that. You can be those children. I love Steve Irwin. He's like, kids are going to get dirty. You wash their clothes. He's like, let them be kids. Let them go in the mud. Let them splash in the puddles. Let them be kids. Get yourself a pair of rubber boots and get dirty and get splash in the mud. Have fun. You know what I mean? That's what life is about. So you don't have to make, it's a choice. It's like, you can live life, or you can sit there and be cautious about everything and be like, oh, by the book, and then sit there and be like, frig, I never even lived life. So the 5 is the saddest card. Often it comes up for relationship breakups or other losses. So unfortunately, retrograde does bring that in as well. Passings, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, but with the end of something comes a rebirth of something else. You know what I mean? Transform. You know what I mean? They're transforming back to their original self. Whomever you believe in, but it's like God takes a piece of his soul, he breathes life into it, and he said, let there be, your name, and you're born into this earth. You're placed into this earth, and just like when we're done this journey with this vessel that we wear, you know what I mean? It's like we go back to God. If you ever play the game Ori, it's very much like that. He calls them all back to bring life to the tree. You know what I mean? So it's very much like that. God calls us back home. You've done everything you needed to do while you were here. Do you transform to the next side? I haven't seen that yet. I always wondered that. You definitely see your loved ones in animal form. As signs and symbols, but it's just like transform to like where they say that you come back as like maybe an animal or whatnot. I'm not sure. I haven't experienced that yet, but once I do, I'll share it with you. This card shows old sorrows resurfacing. Another interpretation is dealing with bereavement. Although 3 of the cups of happiness are turned over, 2 remain upright. Take what you can from this experience, as there's hope for the future. There is. As long as you sit there and you put one foot in front of the other, yes, some days are harder than others. It's not an easy journey, but you know what? As long as you're making an effort to make that change in your life, be that positive change. So the Ace of Swords, beginnings, decisions, insight, success, clarity, and the intellect. The Ace reveals success and a breakthrough with determination and clarity of purpose. You get what you want in work, creative projects, relationships. Everything changes for the better when the Ace comes into play. But there may be some level of confrontation too. Wield the awesome sword with care. So confrontation, I feel like, I feel like maybe because they were already in a previous relationship, or I don't know. Remember we had the 2, are they in a relationship already? And they're asking you, it's more common than you think now where, they invite a third person into the relationship because that's what works. If it works for you and that makes sense, then Osalu, like, who's anybody to judge? You go back to our ancestors, people had 4 wives, you know what I mean? Concubines, you know what I mean? So it's just like, whatever works for your dynamic, do it. 7 of Cups, mastery, possibilities, fantasy, imagination. So that's where I felt like this money coming in would allow like a manifestation of yours to come in. So like, buying a property, maybe taking a trip, something like that. Like, like I said, it's not going to be a significant amount of money, or maybe it will be for some. But it's just like, I don't feel like for most of us it'll be like, anything that would um, you know, where we could retire on. You know what I mean? I feel like, like for some, like especially if you live in an area like I do, that this, could be a down payment and you can get yourself a home, starter home, whatever it is, Um, but it's like, it doesn't matter to you. That's your castle. You know what I mean? It's like all what we make of life. Your imagination is on overdrive just now, and you do not yet have the information you need to make a decision. Everything feels up in the air. You may need to make a choice without knowing the facts. You have your intuition to guide you. An additional meaning is imagination, dreams, and visions. Yes, definitely pay attention to them right now. I definitely feel like they're potent. You know, we're especially where we're able to sleep. Some of us are on holiday from work, definitely skeleton crew working. But it's just like, enjoy this time for sleep. Like, like I got up earlier today. I was going to go back to sleep, but it's about to snow. I can, when the weather changes, it's like that's when I get a headache. But it's just like, it's flurrying. It's nothing crazy, thank God. But it's just like, I was just like, I could go lay back down, but then I'll probably end up, sleeping in later than I wanted to. So I'm just like, get up and, hopefully the headache will go away. I was clenching my jaw, so I know, like, it's like just better to get up. So the Emperor, the authority, protection, support, courage, order, structure. So this is where I say, like, with the four, like I said, maybe buying a home. The for sale sign is not very potent this time. They did to say realtor, but I don't see it like as boldly as I used to. You know what I mean? So it could be for that, but it's just like, bringing in that order. Maybe this is where the money comes from, is from a male, masculine energy. Bring, bringing in this good fortune into your home. This temporary fortune. The emperor denotes the father, husband, male partner, and other influential male. And asks in respect to a situation, the card gives a yes to the questions relating to financial, work offers, and projects. It shows that disputes are resolved. The card shows significant support, trust, and order after a period of chaos or uncertainty. As he is paired with the Empress, the Emperor can represent a committed relationship. An additional meaning, making the right decision. And I feel like that's just where the Emperor comes in. It's just like, when they were talking about like this windfall coming in, and it's like you don't have to sit there and give some money to your kids or the people around you. Like, when they're showing like and I believe it's this deck specifically, the Nine of Cups, it's like all are welcome at your table. You're sharing your fortune. I feel like that's who you are. I feel like your moral compass is to share, that windfall, like, to share that money, because it's just like, what? That, it's not much, but at least you're making that offering. But I feel like, like they're saying, like, instead of giving them, maybe $1,000 each, it's like, hey, why don't we sit there, put that towards a down payment for the home, and now we can have a forever home. And like, you know what I mean? I feel like that's where they were saying talking to your children, making adult decisions and stuff like that. So I feel like that's where, it would make the most sense. It's like we're investing this money into a home. We're doing the right thing here. We have a forever home. No one can sit there and take it away from us. We don't have to worry about, landlords coming to the door, nothing like that. So I feel like that's where they're like having those all adult conversations, respecting them, and making it like a group effort. You know what I mean? They were saying like the decisions don't only affect you, they affect others. You know what I mean? So I feel, you do what you want to do, but I feel like that's where they're coming in here saying, like, with the Ace of Swords especially, when they're saying like, your karmic debt, where are you with your karma? We're coming towards like cleaning of the slate. Like that's what a lot of people see is, January 1st is cleaning the slate, a brand new start. We had that spiritually in November. We had that with the Hebrew faith in with the new year in September. So it's just like, these significant landmarks. But I always say, like, At this moment right now, if you feel like you want to make a positive change in your life, you don't have to wait till January 1st. You could do it right now. If you're like, hey, you know what? I haven't been eating the best, so January 1st, I'm going to start eating better. Why don't you start now? Sit there. I know it's hard with the sweets and everything around and the good food, but it's just like, okay, you know what? Let's make some corn. You can definitely feel it. You definitely feel a certain way when you're eating garbage. You know what I mean? And I don't mean garbage. It's delicious food, but getting your vegetables in there and everything, it's just like, my sister-in-law said that, Shane's sister-in-law, she's like, we don't like vegetables either, but we put it on the bottom, we put what we're eating on top, so it doesn't feel like we're eating it. And I do that. Like, I love zucchini. Oh my gosh, it's so good. But it's like, I don't have a problem with it, but I'll put zucchini or cucumber on, and then I'll, like, if we make like we're making a pasta dish, we usually try to use like egg noodles. Like, sometimes we'll have like, the regular flour noodles, but we try to go to egg noodles. But it's just like, I'll sit there and I'll put the sauce on top of the zucchini. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I can eat zucchini plain. I just absolutely love it. But it's just like, it's nicer when you roast it, or you put the, like, in like oil, and put feta cheese and tomatoes and stuff like that on there, and it tastes really good. Or grill it on the barbecue. You know what I mean? But it's just like, how can you find ways? Like, you know what? Go, especially now because it's cold, everybody wants something warm to eat. Go in your frozen section. They actually have avocado pieces now that you could cut. Like, so if you like, to put avocado into your food, it's like, there's a great way. Get the mixed greens and stuff like that. So you don't have to sit there and look at it, every week throwing out all this produce, and you feel like, I'm just not gonna buy it. But it's like, yeah, but now you can buy frozen. You could get the mixed vegetables. You could get broccoli. You can get spinach. You can get avocado, as I just mentioned. They're putting more and more of the greens into the frozen section because, yeah, like, when it's a cold day, the last thing you want to do is come in and say, let's have a nice cold salad. Get yourself some soup. Get yourself some split pea soup, tomato soup, chicken noodle soup, clam chowder. Like, it warms your core and you feel full, and, you're not eating, rubbish. Just sit there and find ways to bring it in. It's just like, your self-esteem, it's all about how you see yourself. Yeah, there are nasty, insecure people that are going to say things, but you know your value. You know who you are. They see those nasty things because they want you to feel as they feel. They see you happy and confident and everything. They try to, you're like, oh, I'm going through it, so you're going to go through it with me. Like, what a nasty way to be a person. Like, it's like, get a life, You just sit there and you beat to your own drum. People like that, you keep away from. You have nothing positive to say, and you know what? You're in my, outer circle. You don't need to be my inner circle. You don't need people like that. You need someone that's going to boost you up and lift you up and be that light in your life. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what they say, because you know what? They need some help. That's what they need. But you do what you need to do for you. You don't have to wait for a certificate date on the calendar. Do what's best for you. Just remember that this money is going to be temporary. So, make the right decisions. I know it sucks being an adult. It's like, don't you wish you could just blow it on garbage and just be happy? But it's like, it's not garbage. It's fun things that makes us happy. But it's just like, at the end of the day, it's, it puts a smile on your face. You know what I mean? So, do those things. But it's just like, be smart with it, invest it wisely. Like, like they're saying, like, they were saying for some, putting in a down payment for a home. Some of you, maybe it's going on a trip as a family. Whatever it is, it's like, do it together, make the decision together. You know what I mean? But, do what makes you guys happy, puts a smile on your face. You do have the experience to get through this. Hopefully, and by the grace of God, it's not from a bereavement. I know life and death are part of this experience, but it's like, ugh, I don't wish that on anybody. So I hope you guys enjoyed these daily tarot cards for Throne Thursday, December 29th, 2022. May the universe bless you good. Shout out to Riggs again for the comment. I appreciate you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you for the next daily tarot card.